Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Community Sync for 2023. I'm Nadine, and today I'm joined with Soumil and Divulging, who will be giving a talk on how Hudi impacted their data infrastructure and business. So today we'll go over community stats and updates, and then I'll pass it to Soumil for his talk on how maximizing efficiency by templating serverless architecture in Hudi data lakes. And then at the end, we'll take a Q&A. So for the community stats updates, what we have about 128 merge pull requests. We have 70 open pull requests, 43 closed issues, and 40 new issues. We work hard on tearing down the GitHub issues. And again, if you have questions, please reach out on the Hudi community Slack. And if you need to create an issue, please create with reproducible steps so we can triage it and reproduce and come up with some answers with the challenges you're facing. In the community last month, we have passed over 3,400 Slack users. We have over 4,300 GitHub stars. We have 43 contributors who landed PR this month. We do have a major release coming up, which is 0.14.0, be towards the end of this month or beginning of next month, where we'll be featuring record level index and the primary keyless data model. And we also have two new RFCs, RFC 71 and 72, which is enhancing OSCC conflict detection. And the other one is 72 is redesigning the Hudi Spark integration. So if you want to get involved in the community, here are the various links. The blogs are great resources into understanding more of the use cases with Hudi or some deep dives into the technical aspects of Hudi. We also have the community Slack. You should definitely join that if you have questions or want to follow what's going on, or you want to keep up to date with new things that are happening with Hudi. And then if you love and use Hudi, please star us on GitHub. And without further ado, I'll pass it to Soumil for his talk. Soumil?
Thank you, Nadine. Let me share my screen. Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about how we are using Apache Hudi at JobTarget. My today's talk is going to be on maximizing efficiency by templating serverless architecture in Hudi data lakes. A little bit about myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Soumil Shah. I work as a lead data engineer at JobTarget. I have expertise developing data platforms. And today with me, I have my co-worker, Divyansh Patel. Divyansh, if you want to quickly introduce yourself.
Sure. Greetings, everyone. I am Divyansh Patel, and I'm currently thriving as a software developer and data engineer at JobTarget. It's been a fantastic 1.5 years working under Soumil's guidance. Throughout this period, I have immersed myself in diverse projects with a special focus on data pipelines and data warehouse initiatives. Even during my free times, I stay involved in my projects. Today's opportunity has me truly excited. Thank you for having me here. Over to you, Soumil. Thank you.
Thank you, Divyansh. So a little bit information about who we are. JobTarget LLC is a leading provider of innovative talent acquisition solution for organizations of all sizes. With our comprehensive suite of recruitment, advertising, job distribution, and data analytic tools, we empower companies to find the right talent efficiently and effectively. We offer three core services, that is recruitment, advertising, job distribution, and data analytics. In today's data-driven world, the volume of data being generated is rapidly increasing, posing a challenge for organizations to efficiently manage and derive value from the vast amount of information. On the right-hand side, you can see on 28 June, our data lake was about 38.9 terabyte, and within a week, we are close to about 40 terabytes. So as you can see, the total number of objects is about 82.4 million objects. So the exponential growth of data has presented several challenges. One of them is data visualization. Presenting large amount of data in a visually understandable manner becomes challenging, as traditional visualization techniques may not be sufficient. Data quality, with the sheer volume of data, maintaining its accuracy and reliability becomes a challenging. Data security, as data expands, ensuring its security becomes even more complex. Data analysis and interpretation, extracting meaningful insights from massive data set requires sophisticated analytical tools. And last, data processing speed. As data grows, processing and analyzing it in near real time becomes more demanding, requiring advanced hardware, software, and processing algorithms. Solution to all of these problems, Apache Hudi. Apache Hudi, pronounced as Hudi, is a next generation streaming data lake platform that brings core warehouse and database functionality directly to your data lakes. Apache Hudi brings database features to data lake. It supports table, transaction, and efficient data handling. Works well for all streaming and batch-oriented pipelines used by major companies like Uber, Amazon, and ByteDance. Compatible with open source file format and any cloud storage platform. Integrates with popular query engines for fast analytics. So benefits of Hudi adoption is reporting, eliminating duplicates, enhancing data management capabilities, and cost saving. So let's go to the next slide. More benefits are mutability, supporting for all data-like workloads, improve efficiency by incrementally processing new data, then resiliency pipelines with schema evolution and enforcement, query acceleration through multimodal indexes, unlock historical data with time travel, and of course, ACID, atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability, transactional guarantees to your data lake. So let's learn about implementation of Hudi at JobTarget, maximizing efficiency in data lake glue ETL jobs. So first, I would like to cover challenge. So what was the challenge and why we adopted Hudi? We faced the challenge of maximizing efficiency in our data lake glue ETL jobs. Our objective was to minimize the infrastructure code, reduce the manual intervention, and streamline data ingestion. We had our existing data lake infrastructure and glue ETL jobs in place. However, we identified the need to improve and enhance the efficiency and reduce the manual effort. This is the solution, and this is how we adopt Hudi at our organization. We have implemented control tower, meaning each application has its own AWS account. It would have a QA, UAT, and production environment. On the diagram, as you can see, I have been showing two blocks, which is the account orders and the customer. Each have their own AWS account. Each application will dump their raw data into their respective S3 bucket, as you can see in the block number 1. Then we have our glue ingestion framework. We read the data from cross account, we catalog the data, and we build Apache Hudi Silver Zone. After that, through incremental pipelines, we build the gold zone, meaning we are going to build dimensions and fact. As you can see on the third block, we query the Apache Hudi data lake using Spark SQL, Athena to run ad hoc queries and reports. And again, for data visualization, we have chosen AWS QuickSight. So this is how we have implemented our architecture using Apache Hudi. So again, templated approach, serverless architecture, automated job management, retry mechanism, scheduling via event bridge, and enhanced monitoring and alerting. As you can see on the first block, we need a way to schedule jobs. For this, we have chosen AWS Event Bridge, which allows us to schedule these jobs. All the information about the job is stored in AWS DynamoDB, which acts as a metadata, right? And all the templates will be living on S3. So anytime you want to fire a job, the Lambda function will read the metadata from DynamoDB, and then it's going to pass those parameters to your templates, which are essentially glue jobs. And the glue jobs are going to ingest data incrementally from the raw zone into the silver zone, as you can see. Anytime any pipeline fails, there will be an event broadcasted to AWS Event Bridge. We have a Lambda subscribe to that event, and it's going to basically send email alerts to the data engineer saying that, hey, the ETL pipeline has failed. Please take a look at it. So how do we basically set up Hudi in our company, right? So first we identify the source. For an example, on the right-hand side, you see there are two tables on S3. These are customers in order, right? Once we have identified that, we have a backend. Basically, as you can see, we create a job through a Swagger UI. Over here, what you can see is this is the payload that defines our job. So here on the first line, you can see active as false. So you can specify whether the job is active or not. Who created this job, right? When would you want to schedule this job? So you can specify a cron expression. The job name, of course, the table name. And then, as you can see, we have a map object called glue payload. This is where all your Apache Hudi payload would be passed. For example, here you can see, do I want to use cleaner? We have set to true. Do I want to use HiveSync? The answer is yes. We specify the glue database name, the glue table name. We specify the record key, the precom key, which is used for dedupe purposes. Apache Hudi table type, as you can see, copy on right. We want to partition our data by a year and a month. And as you can see, the target has 3 paths. So where you want to read the data, where you want to land the data, and then at the end, you also have an ability to transform the data. So we can specify the transformation through a simple Spark SQL, as you can see. Once you execute that payload, you will get a response 200, meaning your job has now been created. As you can see, this is a sample screenshot. This shows that the job was created, and you can verify that on the DynamoDB. As you can see, the job payload, the job name, whether it's active or not, who made this job, etc. So as soon as you basically create a job, automatically an event bridge rule is created. During the schedule cron, a Lambda function is triggered, which reads the metadata from DynamoDB and then fires the appropriate template with the parameter. In the event of job failure, it will attempt to retry 3 times before sending an event, a failure event to the event bridge. This event triggers an email alert, notifying the user about the job failures. One of the use cases that I want to specify is our incremental ETL. So as you can see, we used to map events. We get real-time events from a source, and we want to map it to the standard JobTarget events. So the way we do that is we have a date dimension, as you can see, which is an Apache Hudi table. We have an Apache Hudi event table, and we are ingesting real-time data from Kinesis into our Silver Zone. Then we have a mapping table, which holds the mapping that we want to map to. So we incrementally ingest data from events. We then perform a join with the mapping table and the date dimension. And then we, of course, create a gold zone, as you can see, mapped events. Using this approach, incrementally fetching data, we were able to, again, as I said, we were able to reduce the processing time from hours to minutes. The cost went down because we are not performing a full table scan. We are only ingesting data incrementally. So as you can see, the cost went down from 4 to 5x. The query speed, it was faster because Hudi's automated clustering service and file sizing feature, right? So once we are writing data into our Hudi tables, then we used to perform async clustering, and then we used to create this larger parquet files, which essentially helped us to faster query our data. Conclusion, right, well, we achieved maximized efficiency with this approach, efficient querying of large data set, and then efficient deduplication. We use Apache Hudi pre-com key to dedupe our data, efficient processing because we only process new data, and the entire framework is open source. You can find the framework on GitHub. You can adopt this framework in your company if needed. And then I believe if you guys have any question, I'll be happy to take the questions now.
Thank you, Soumil, for your presentation. Does anyone have any questions for Soumil?
Yeah, actually, I have a question, Soumil. So in this case, so what is the Hudi type are you guys using? Call table, more table, and why?
Great question. So for the Silver Zone, for streaming jobs, we are using a more table because we want to write the data as fast as possible. And then later on, we come back and create our parquet files. And then for the Gold Zone, we are using a copy on write. So yeah.
Okay.
So Soumil, what's next in building this architecture? Are you guys looking to implement this in other features at JobTarget, or is this like one project in JobTarget that you've done this with?
Yeah, we are definitely looking to add more and more features. For example, now embedding like JDBC sources and making it more generic. So that is the plan. And also we are also working on a front end. So everything you can set up jobs, you can monitor everything through a simple front end UI. That's the goal.
So, Soumil, this is Manish. I had one question regarding the costs. So here you are, when you say about cost, are you considering only the compute cost, like for Glue or entire data lake, like which will include your Glue plus S3 plus Athena?
Thank you for your question, Manish. The cost includes the S3, the storage cost, and the compute cost. Hudi helped us to save cost on the storage by only keeping the latest file versions. So that way we have optimized the storage cost. And Hudi also helped us to save the compute cost because now we are only processing incremental data. So that essentially reduced our processing time and helped us to save money on Spark, jobs.
Okay, so just to follow up, actually I've also followed the same architecture in my company, and we have started in January. I think we have spoken in last few days back. The problem I faced at my side was the S3 list cost, because once you enable all your metadata, it will generate a lot of small files, and that was increasing my S3 list and the guest cost. So how have you faced that issue, and what was your approach to solve that?
Yes, so for extremely large table, Manish, we usually do async indexing and not during inline meta indexing. So I would say probably using an async approach would be much better than doing it during write times.
No. So I was talking about like when you do async, whether it is the inline or sorry, indexing, whether it is async or inline, it will create two things. One is your commit files, and
Yes.
second one is your the files which is inside the metadata table, right? The log file, the indexing file. Suppose you have enabled your Bloom indexing or your column start indexing, it will create multiple files on every index. Whenever you invoke an indexing service on your table.
Sorry, I think you cut off for a while. Would you be able to write down your question and maybe I can take it offline?
Oh, okay, sure. I'll write it down.
Thank you, Manish.
Question here. I'm Floyd. Great presentation. Thank you. I'm skilling up on Hudi and learned a lot already just from this. But what encouraged you to take this approach? What made you think this might be fruitful? And how much work was it for how many people to get this done to this stage?
Oh, great. So we developed this framework in about 15 days. And the reason we were able to do it so fast was we developed a similar framework for using AWS Batch. So we reused a lot of work, for example, the scheduler as service. So we copy pasted the code from that part. Then, the metadata part, we were using there as well, DynamoDB. So most of the code was reused, and this entire framework was done within 15 days. And a great question would be, why not we adopted Delta Streamer versus we went with Glue, right? Because they are almost similar in a functionality, right? The answer to that would be we are heavily using Glue, and we wanted to do something with Glue itself, and hence we thought to have a framework around AWS Glue. And another would be, based on the job, we can specify the worker type. We want to use G1, G2, G4, or G8, and we can easily scale up and down pretty fast, easily using a simple payload,
Yeah, very good. And so just to follow up, first of all, that's really fast to get this done. How much work had the previous effort been that you were able to borrow from?
Yeah, so that project, which was AWS Batch framework, it took about 6 to 7 months to come to that point. And then we just copy pasted all of the work from that project.
That makes a lot of sense. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And this framework is all open source, so please, go ahead and download the code, try it out. And if you have questions, always happy to help you guys out.
Thanks, Soumil. Does anyone else have any more questions?
No, just a comment. It's so awesome to see, with all the great things that you do in the community as well, Soumil, also having walking the walk and actually running this in production. It's so awesome to see that. Thanks for the talk.
Thank you, Vinod, and thank you so much for gifting us Apache Hudi to the community. Thank you so much.